Good morning, dear students. I hope you all are fine. Today I am going to explain you question answers from the chapter 3 questions by Leo Tolstoy. So let's begin. Students, our first question is, why did the king want to know answers to 3 questions? Here students, you have to recall the story, and the answer is the king wanted to know answers of his 3 questions because he wanted to be a successful ruler. Our second question is basically a sentence and we will complete it with the help of given option. Messengers were sent throughout the kingdom, and the right option is to announce a reward for those who could answer the question. Students, this question we will complete the following sentences by adding the appropriate part of the sentences given in the box. Our first sentence is, many wise men answered the king's question, and the remaining part is, but their answers were so varied that the king was not satisfied. Our second sentence is, someone suggested that there should be a council of a wise men, and the right option is to help the king act at the right time. Our third sentence is, someone else suggested that the king should have a timetable and follow it strictly. Our fourth sentence is, the king requested the hermit to answer 3 questions. Our last sentence is, the king washed and dressed the bearded man's wound, but the bleeding would not stop. Answer the following questions working with text. Our first question is, why was the king advised to go to the magician? And the answer is, some of the wise men thought that in order to decide right time for doing something, one must look into the future, and only magicians were able to do that. So, they advised the king to go to the magician. Here we have second question. In answer to the second question, who advised did the people say would be important to the king? And the answer is, to the second question, some people suggested to seek advice of counselors, the priest, or the doctors, or the soldiers. Here we have the third question. Our third question is, what suggestions were made in the answer to the third question? The answer is, for the third question, some people said science was the important business, while there were others who believed it was fighting, and then there was those who believed religious worship should take the first place. Here we have fourth question. The question is, did the wise men win the reward? If not, why not? The solution is no. The wise men didn't win the reward because their answers were so different from each other, and the king was not satisfied with their answers. Students, here we have fifth question. Our fifth question is, how did the king and the hermit help the wounded man? The king washed the wound and covered the wound of the man with his handkerchief and kept on dressing it until the bleeding stopped completely. The king also offered the wounded man water to drink. The hermit helped the king to bring the wounded man inside his hut and allowed the man to spend his night in the hut. Here we have sixth question, and the question have 2 parts. The first question is, who was the bearded man? The answer, the bearded man was an enemy of the king. He wanted to take revenge of his brother's death by killing the king and taking away all his property. The second question is, why did he ask for the king's forgiveness? And the answer is, the bearded man asked for the king's forgiveness because he wanted to kill the king. But the king has saved his life. He was grateful to king now. Our seventh question is, the king forgave the bearded man. What did he do to show his forgiveness? The king showed his forgiveness by promising that the man that he will send his doctor and servants to look after him, and also promised to return him all his property. So students, now this is our last question. What were the hermit's answer to the three questions? Write each answer separately. Which answer do you like the most and why? The most important time, the hermit said, is our present, because it is the only moment when we have the power to act. The most important person at a moment is we ourselves, because the future is unknown and we don't know whether we will meet anyone in future or not. So we should listen to ourselves. The most important business is to be kind and good to others, because we have sent in this world to serve this noble cause. I like the third answer the most, because helping someone in need is like serving God. It makes us a good person and brings a sense of satisfaction and contentment.